Thanking you, everybody. Your feedback from last week's episode has been absolutely brilliant. I'm really pleased to hear about how you're all using the videos and how you're looking forward to the new ones coming out. So let's keep that momentum going as we get into episode number 2 now. It's getting to that point in the year where people are starting to go away on holidays. So over the Easter break, going things like skiing or beach holidays and things of that nature. So I thought, let's do a stretching routine that you could do each day. Let's do some things that are gonna deplane you and help keep your posture upright and everything whilst you're in between classes and that. And then when you get back, it will have kept you topped up. So if you like the content that we're putting out on this channel now, it'll really help us out if you can hit the subscribe button and keep up to date. We'll keep you notified as to when new videos are coming out. In the meantime, let's get cracking. So welcome to episode number 2, everybody. It's been a real pleasure to speak to you over the last week and hearing about how you're finding these videos so far. Let's get started with episode number 2 now, which is going to be all about stretching and things that you could be doing throughout the day. So we're still going to be doing stretches you can be doing for about a minute or 2 each. I will guide you through as we go through right now. So to start you off, we're going to look at stretching out through your hip flexors at the front here. These get really tight if we're sat down a lot throughout the day. So whether you're going away on holiday or not, if you're somebody that spends a lot of the day sat down at a desk, or if you do a lot of driving, if you play a bit too much Xbox or whatever, these muscles here, if they get really tight when you're sat down in this sort of hunched over position, as soon as you then go to stand up, they can pull your hips forwards like that into what's called an anterior pelvic tilt, which is then over exaggerating the curve of your lower back. So we're going to try and just reverse that a little bit by bringing you up into a kneeling position. Now you can have a cushion underneath the back knee if it's a bit too uncomfortable for you. You want to have quite a good gap here. You don't want to be too close together like that. So we want to have a good gap with that knee going back towards the wall behind you. Then we're just going to bring you up nice and tall here, okay? Now, we want to make sure we're not overarching in your back here. So remember, rib cage placement. Keep the rib cage down, keep that core active. I want you to squeeze through your bottom and then just try and lean forwards a little bit. You don't have to go too far. We're driving that hip down towards the ground, okay? So again, we're going to do a minute on each side. All right, we're just going to try and stand nice and tall on that. Squeeze through your bottom, big deep breaths, and let's just keep you there. You should feel that down the front of your leg. Now, whilst we're in that position, having spoken to a lot of you over the previous week about how you're finding the videos and everything, one of the questions that came up was when you should be doing this throughout the day, what time of day. And it largely depends, really. I mean, I'd much prefer, obviously, that you're doing something than doing nothing at all. So, whenever you can fit it in is brilliant. But if you get the chance, it's better to be doing it generally sort of later on in the day. When you're getting up first thing in the morning, you're going to be at your coldest, you're going to be at your stiffest, and your muscles are going to be much more pliable a bit later on in the day. So certainly for sort of stretching, it's a good idea to, do it a little bit later in the day. But ultimately, if you get the chance, and the only chance you get is in the morning, just go with whenever you can. Right, so that's 1 minute on that side. So relax out of that and let's reset over onto the other one. One side might be a bit tighter than the other, so that's fine, that's normal. Now, from that position, once again, we're keeping that back knee towards the wall behind you. Keep squeezing your bottom, rib cage stays down, just lean forwards a little bit so you're not overarching in that back. Keep squeezing, and again, it's going to be another minute on this side. And I know a minute may seem like quite a long time to be holding a stretch, but quite often with stretching, people don't hold them for quite long enough. It's sometimes like 10, 15 seconds or something along those lines. But in all honesty, it's not quite long enough. You want to try and stay in a stretch position for that bit longer to really get the muscle to relax out a bit and to actually start initiating a bit of change into it. If you could do a bit longer than a minute, then, that's a bonus. But at the moment, you know, this will be absolutely fine. So again, big deep breaths. Keep your bottom squeezed. Don't overarch in that back. Ribs stay down. And we're just keeping you there. Now, a number of you are saying you were going on holiday, as I said in the intro there. It'd be interesting to see, you know, if you get the chance, you know, I'll put links to my social media and stuff. It'd be great to see some pictures of your setup in, whilst you're on holiday. You know, see in the locations. We're done on that side now as well. Well done. Let's relax off. Well done. Just ease off from that. You can always sit back into a child's pose as well there just for a moment, just to ease off. Yeah, it'd be great to see any pictures of you do, well, not necessarily, you know, if you don't want to take a picture of yourself doing any of this, you don't have to, but just maybe your setup and like the scenery around it. Let's see whereabouts in the world you are. I'd find it fascinating just to see kind of where we're reaching out to so far. I know there may be a number of you that I've not even met before in different countries that are doing this, and it'd be lovely to sort of just see where we're kind of helping people. So yeah, give us some interesting scenery, see what your view is, send us a picture, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see that. So we stretched out at the front here now to take some pressure off of that lower back. Let's look at strengthening that lower back as well, but also stretching out at the front. Because again, if you're sat down a lot throughout the day, if you're driving, if you're typing, this kind of thing, it can be very easy to get short, I guess, across the front here, but also then you're lengthening across the back, and you want to try and reverse that. We want to try and stretch out across the front here and strengthen at the back. So what we're going to look for on this one now is lying you flat down. It's a similar movement to what we did last time, but I'm going to get us to do more of a breaststroke maneuver, all right? So the feet are staying down on the ground, all right? The toes are pointed towards the back wall. You want the feet a hip distance apart. We're squeezing through your bottom again. That's going to help protect your lower back as we strengthen it. So try not to just kind of relax and melt down into the floor. We're looking down towards the floor and lengthening the top of the head towards the far wall here, okay? Now, from that position, I want to try and again, get that squeeze through your bottom. And as we breathe out, we're raising the arms and the chest off of the floor. Now, big deep breath in. As you circle the arms around, palms of the hands come on top of each other here, but then we're squeezing the elbows up and together towards the ceiling, all right? And then we breathe out, gently coming back and down to a relaxed position, okay? Now with this one, we are going to do this one for 2 minutes, okay? So here we go for 2 minutes. So squeeze your bottom, keep the toes pointed, we breathe out, raise off, breathe in, reach up, squeeze, breathe out, relax it back and down. So this is a nice one for helping to strengthen up across the back there. So it's important to keep your bottom squeezed. But this part here, where you're raising those elbows up towards each other, that really stretches out across the front, but also strengthens across the back of the shoulders. So all of the bits that get really lengthened whenever you're typing, driving, anything where we've got a bit of bad posture going on. So again, breathing out, raise up, breathe in, reach around, up and squeeze, breathe it out as we come back around and down. All right, so just nice and steady. You're not looking to try and go too high up with the lifting here. We're not looking to arch in that lower back there. It's more about being long. So you're trying to get the top of the head towards that far wall. So again, you really get that reach, top of the head away from tip of the toes. Remember, the toes stay down on the ground there, and we're squeezing through your bottom the whole time. All right, so just nice and steady, getting that reach. Well done. Let's go for another one. So again, breathe it out, breathe it in, reach and squeeze up, breathe it out, back around, and then down. Good. It's looking good, everybody. Going to start getting tired in those shoulders, but that's no bad thing. And then from there, we're done with that one. Excellent. So again, let's bring you then back up. and back up into that child's pose, stretch from there. Now, we're actually going to transition straight into the next stretch from that position, all right? So we're going into a side bend from that child's pose. So we're going to get to stay where you are, stay nice and low, and we're side bending through the upper body, okay? So you're still trying to sink in towards the ground there. If I spin round so you can sort of see where, where I'm positioned here. So again, you're down in that child's pose stretch towards the floor, and we're walking you round to one side. We're not trying to reach the arm underneath your head. Try and reach around the top. You're trying to get as much distance from your little finger and down to that hip there as you can. So you're really stretching out right down the side into what's called your lats, your latissimus dorsi that runs down the shoulder, down the side there, down underneath the shoulder. So you're sinking down into it and want to try and breathe high up into that. So big deep breath, nice and steady, and just really open that out, get that big stretch. As you breathe out, you can walk the hand that little bit further away and get an extra stretch. Go for it, that's fine. And just, think about just having a lovely time and having a jolly old time with all of this. I could be doing much worse things to you, so, think of it, you don't need to thank me now, it's fine. But big deep breath though, high up into that side. Really reach and open that out. Just say sunk down into it. Now we're coming up on the minute in just a moment there, and just easing into it. There we go. So that's 1 minute on that side. So then we're going to stay nice and low again, but just ease over to the other side. All right. So again, 1 minute on this one now. Now again, one side might be a bit tighter than the other, and that again, like I said before, is pretty normal, to be honest. Over the over the days and weeks and months and years, we can build up some imbalances just from little things, but it can all have quite a big impact when we start moving in exercises like this. So it's quite a good way to just be able to release out. I like exercises that you can do on each individual side, so you've got to work the same on both sides really, and really ease into it. And certainly through all the injuries I've had in the past with broken bones and torn muscles and things, it's good to try and work on imbalances, because I do certainly have some. So I think we've all got things that we can be working on. And again, breathing into it. And then again, we'll come back into the middle. Now, once you've done that, what I then want us to do, just for a couple of big deep breaths, is come back to the middle into that child's pose again, but just try and sink down that little bit further than you originally were. You'll probably find all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can go further down. That's marvelous. Well, let's just hold that for a couple of big deep breaths. Well done, and then we'll gently bring you back up and to the top. Well done. So that one should keep you going until next week, until you've come back from your holidays and things. So any of the stretching exercises, feel free to crack on with those each day if you want. And the middle one, the breaststroke one, you might want to maybe do that every other day. But again, let me know how you're getting on with it, or send me pictures, message me on social media. Send me the pictures of where you're doing these things. I'd love to see it. It'd be really interesting to find out where in the world people are doing this stuff. And any questions, any feedback, any things you want to see covered on the show in the future, just give me a shout. But in the meantime, enjoy episode 2, and I'll see you next week for number 3.